everybody, and welcome to another episode of Kaffee and Kuchen with Internationals. I am your co-host, Anne Lassay, and today I'm sitting here with Mary. I'm super excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you, Ali, for the opportunity. I'm super excited about this conversation.
Yeah, me too. Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit to the audience?
Sure, I can tell that I might divide my life before immigration and after immigration. So in 2020, my family and I we left Russia, and here we started our journey. And I thought that we would just move in countries and basically live in another place, but it turned out we had to change our life completely, like start from the very bottom from scratch. And we stayed for 6 months in Turkey, then for 2 years in Hungary, and then we had to settle in Germany. And I thought that I knew how it is to live abroad. So I had some experience and I felt like I'm a professional at it already. But when we came to Germany, I was like, I have no idea what it is to live here, to be an immigrant. And I was it was hard to face with reality, And also there was no another destination on the horizon. We knew that Germany is not temporary, that we need to settle here. That was also quite difficult to accept. And since 2024, we are here. So it's a little bit more than 2 years for now.
Mm, yeah, okay, interesting. You're not the first person that said that they've lived in other countries and they've felt like they're experienced at moving abroad and then they came to Germany and it was just something different and something more difficult than what they expected. I am interested if you like look back at the other two countries that you lived in and Germany as well. Like, what are the things that you learned in each place? And then what made Germany more difficult?
Well, there was always feeling that we are not for a long term in those places. Let's say in Turkey, we just had to stay there for some time because we were in this transition period. Just left the country, our home place, and we needed to figure out things with the documents and the other destination where we would go, the next destination. So we knew that it's kind of long vacation, and it was actually nice feeling. You are living there, but you are not kind of settling in. You are just enjoying the sun, the places, meeting new people. And then came Hungary, which was the very first country ever I visited in Europe. So for me, it was first super cultural shock, and the people, the architecture, the history, the everything around the place. I lived in Budapest, which is capital, which is was wow, absolutely. But after 3 or so months, we realized that we don't want to stay there for a long term. So we kind of started preparing ourselves mentally that we will move again. And again, there was a kind of next destination on the horizon. And I was again living on that vacation mode, when you're looking forward something. And then after some time, we figured out that Germany will be our next destination. Due to my husband's work, he works in German's company, so it was easiest way for us to move there
Mm.
here. And yeah, we came here, no another destination, and that was quite upsetting, you know. So I
Yeah.
can't say what's the biggest difference or something because there was not a feeling inside me that yes, I will live in Hungary for like 5, 10 years. I prepared myself to move forward. This is why there
Mm.
was a kind of excitement always until I came here to Germany.
Yeah, okay. So there's a sense of like this kind of forward, there's something going that you're moving towards, and that helped you to adjust in those other places because there was a next step. And now you're here, and this is the final destination. And so there's this sense of like, I have to build my entire life.
Yeah, it was like, wow, that's a reality. I have to start building community, building myself, like all these things, like with the kids. So it was really hard to accept that vacation is over, that I need to be kind of responsible for what I want to build, to create that life and routines and all of that. Plus, we faced with with the fact that Germany is a very complicated country.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, maybe we come back to that. You mentioned kids briefly. When did you have them already when you left Russia, or was this in Germany, or when?
My eldest and my middle kid left Russia with us, but at a kind of young age. So my daughter was back then 5, and my son was only 2. They kind of didn't really understand what was going on.
Mhm.
Um, but then we were moving in Turkey, Hungary, going to international places, so they were more into learning English rather than Hungarian. And moving here to Germany was also good for them because of this German-speaking environment, and she, I would say, the more integrated person in the family into German system, the language, the people, everything.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, interesting. I wanted to ask that because I think when people move abroad, the situation in which they move can make a big difference to how they experience that move. And so I was curious when you were mentioning your kids, if that had made a difference to your experience of moving abroad, but you had them each time, and so that's not a factor in this, which is interesting.
I would say that they are our biggest motivation here. And having kids turned out easier when you are moving countries and living in different places because they, at least for us, for our family, they gave us this feeling of home. No matter where we go, we have them. At home, we brought some, small things that were like a treasures for them, and when you have it at home, when you have your kids at home, like basically no matter where you are, the most important thing there, they are with you, no matter where you go. And I find it very helpful, and it helped us not to fall apart. When you're so unmotivated and you want to give up, or something goes wrong and you don't know what to do with all these documents you get here once you become a German. Um, Not a citizen, but just to want to live in Germany, they kind of keep you motivated, and you can just fall apart.
Mm, it's so true. You have to be the strong person for them, right? And it sounds like you found a lot of comfort in them, in the challenges that were happening around you, but they were like they kept you solid and kept you going. I love that.
100%. Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, for different people, it works. Some people can say, oh, no, no, I have kids. I don't want to go anywhere. Don't want to bring that stress into their life. I don't want to, for them to start being into new language, environment, everything. I don't know. There are two sides of a coin, and still, I find here more opportunities for the kids rather than negative effect.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel like that side of it's not often seen or talked about. Like, I think that's not everybody's experience that come here with kids. And so I think I love that you're sharing that because it gives another perspective or a way to think about family and moving abroad with family. So I think yeah, I think it's something that people can take with them that maybe are struggling even with kids here. Like, how can you turn this into an opportunity and to find a sense of, I guess, motivation to build something for them, right?
Yeah, and also you are doing it together, which is also fascinating for the family, and it makes you stronger as a family, builds stronger bonds between you. Because when you struggle and they see you struggle, you're kind of still sharing your experience, and they already become stronger as people. Even just go to a completely new class of people and surrounded by the language you never heard about, and like that's a challenge for 7 years old. That's a super challenging. I never experienced that. Sometimes I ask my husband why we did it to our kids. I mean, it's really so hard, but they
Yeah.
did it. I mean, my daughter now, she is 9 and she speaks 3 languages, and she learns Spanish now just because
Oh.
she's curious about it by
Mm.
herself, which is really
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, she's built a love for language through, I guess, through being challenged by it, maybe. Yeah. What do
Yeah.
you think? What were your biggest challenges that you faced when you got here?
My personal, I think I'm still facing it.
Me too. I think we all are.
Yeah. Well, it's been a long journey for me, and to be honest, I probably didn't really sit and think, without distraction, without some things to do, because I have three kids now, and every time something on my plate, like home chores, learning, doing, working, everything. So the biggest challenge was to accept that I kind of have to accept that we are
Mm,
here and we need to build our life in Germany. Although I don't like quite a lot here, I would say, but I understand still opportunities and benefits for the kids for their future. Kind of winning for now. At least
mm,
for now, I can say that I would be staying here for 10 plus years. You really never know. We will see. But for me, the biggest now is probably feeling myself as I'm at home. Like, you are going out. I still don't speak German fluently. I'm still learning. And sometimes, for me, even simple conversation, in a way I would carry myself in Russian or in English, I can't carry myself the same way in German. It's kind
mm,
of confusing, and people tell to me to talk with me and kind of joking, and it takes time for me to understand their jokes, their words, and I really do not show up the way I would if I would be in my home place, let's say. This is kind of difficult still.
mm. How long have you been here?
2 years.
Yes. Okay, not that long.
Not a lot, yeah, but I thought that I would be more motivated to be more into this German language and learning faster and making more friends. We do make attempts to make local friends, specifically Germans, because we want to have those bonds with them and kind of integrating ourselves faster. But I still find it a little bit difficult here.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it is hard. And like, I relate to what you're saying with the language. I think it does take a very long time. Like, I spent my first year here learning German, like, pretty much intensively. And then eventually I did also start working in German. And that was
Mm.
last year, at the beginning of last year. And only now do I feel comfortable. Like, it's taken 5 years.
But you
Mm.
worked in German, so it was like the place where you could practice and gain that confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made a massive difference. Yeah, it's hard, like if you're spending a lot of time in the home, speaking other languages to learn it. It takes a lot of effort, and you've got to find other ways to do it, right? Other opportunities.
And do you feel yourself differently as a person when you speak German and then you speak English?
Very, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very different. But I don't have a perspective. Like I don't know what it's like for you, for example, speaking English. It's also a foreign language. I don't. German's the first foreign language I've learned. And I do feel very different speaking it. I don't have a comparison as to what it would be like to speak a different language. I guess you're a different person with every language you speak, but I don't know.
Yeah, I feel so. This weekend I had experience. So usually I engross myself into English speaking communities, even the content I consume, it's all in English. And this weekend I experienced the conference I joined, but it was Russian speaking conference for women. And the first time I felt myself, I stumbled, I couldn't find words, I felt a little bit awkward, and I was like, gosh, that's my mother tongue, why I feel differently. And then when it comes to English, still I'm not a native speaker. Sometimes I can't find right words to express myself. So I'm kind of in this transition, not a like fully a Russian speaker already, where would I feel like 100% myself. And now in English, I'm also still kind of on the way to that. And it's a hard place to be in, to be honest. You're like balancing between two worlds. I don't like it. And
Yeah,
also, here's a German somewhere on the horizon where you also need to engross yourself into German to be able
yeah,
to communicate with people around. So that's a work. That's a lot of work.
yeah. Takes a lot of like cognitive load, I think, to always be like changing the way that you're thinking and adapting to the environment that you're in. I notice that too. It's hard.
Yeah, it's good for brain, of course, but you also
Mm.
need to push yourself all the time. With the age, it kind of gets more difficult, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that's absolutely a factor. I've got this thought coming up. I don't know. I'm imagining like when we move countries, we've got the part of us that we bring from our home country, right? Like our childhood and the values that we maybe learned from our own culture, and then we arrive in a new place and we learn things about the new culture and some things we really love about that, and we adopt it, and then we carry that with us, and and for you now you've gone to 4 different places that you've lived, right? Did it feel like that also, that you've taken a little bit of Turkey with you and a little bit of Hungary that you're also carrying around?
Not really.
No.
Probably because I never lived in Hungary with the feeling that I need to make it my home. Again, there was a feeling that we are here temporary. This is why I didn't really got deep into culture, traditions. We lived there, but again, as an on vacation.
Mm,
But here in Germany, we are try to get really deep into traditions, whatever happens in neighborhood, you are looking at all the people, this carnival thing we never heard about. And now, like every year, we are wearing those funny costumes and we are like into this carnival mood in Köln or in the place where I live in. So it's interesting to see how it's different. It's very different from what I experienced. But I also understand that for my kids, it will be like traditions they follow and they will carry into their families, to their kids, which is also interesting.
yeah, you're making their memories. What do you think the biggest differences are in culture from where you come from and Germany?
So the
Yeah.
hardest thing for me, which the most different thing as a Russian here in Germany, is mentality. Germans follow the rules, Russians break the rules. And no matter where you go, no matter in what situation you are, when something is you don't like, you have this idea, how can I just skip this step? How can we, what we can do about it? But you cannot say it to a German. He would look at you like, huh? What are you talking about? Where are you? You're in Germany. Here is this written this way, and you follow exact what is written.
Mm,
And for me, as for Russian, it's hard sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know that like in New Zealand, that's where I come from. It's a little bit the same. Like you talk about New Zealand ingenuity, which is this idea that we're very innovative and we always come up with different ways of doing things. And are quite agile, I would say, as a society. And change can happen quite fast. And so I noticed that difference coming here, that the
Mm.
systems are so complex and very, I mean, for a good reason, I think. Like, if you look at the history and why they've developed the way they have, there is a good reason for it. And there's a lot of people that live here. And so the systems need to be very rigorous. Um, but yeah, it is hard to adjust to it because they're so complex, they're harder to change. What I've realized with time is with this is that it's just a difference in culture, and that there's also a protective element within the culture where people are kind of looking out for each other, and the sense of, yeah, there's a way to do this, and this is the way that is the most safe or makes the most sense in
Yeah.
German society. And so I think there's an element of care within it that you don't necessarily see when you first arrive because it feels so different to what one's used to. Mm.
uh, they are very welcoming and kind and supportive. I mean, we have lovely neighbors, and when we just moved in into our apartment, I don't know, so many people asked whether they can help us somehow with the documents because we just moved, and in 1 month we got a paper that our daughter need to enroll school, and we were like, what? It's May. Why she would do like 2 months ahead to study? And in school, principal said like, no, it's better for her to integrate faster. And some neighbors just helped us with all the documents because we couldn't really understand what exactly we need to do. So people, the majority of people, they are really nice and kind, and they are welcoming to newcomers, which is
Mm,
very cute.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I have the same experience. And I think, yeah, there's a sense of maybe difference is scary. Like I notice sometimes for myself, even, I feel different whenever I open my mouth, right? People can tell I'm not from here, and the sense of wanting to feel like I fit in. I think it's a human nature thing, right? To want to fit in. I think all of us have that to a certain extent. And I imagine that for people in any country that are also getting used to having people living around them that are also different, there's also an adjustment and a change. And so I think it is just a human nature element of, we're here, we're all different, we're living together and we're finding our way and we all do things differently. And it stands out when you're different, right? I
Yeah,
think that's a part of it. And I think there's no way to avoid
yeah,
that when there is difference.
yeah. And for many, there are so many nationalities, basically, like so many. And I don't know even now proportion of Germans, like local Germans, who live here, and to all the people who moved here
Mm,
from all over the world.
yeah. Yeah. I love that about like that's my favorite thing about living here is being able to meet so many nationalities and to get to know different cultures and different types of people. I think it's enriching.
I think for you, for plus you came from New Zealand, it's so fascinating. And for me, I came from Russia, and Russia is huge. I mean, it's
Mm,
so huge. I don't know how describe you my emotions and feeling when we lived in Budapest, and within 2 hours we got on a train. Within 2 hours we were in Austria, in Vienna, and I was like, what? 2 hours and I'm in another country. For my experience, I could drive 2 hours on a train and I'm in the same, in the same city. It took me 2 days, 48 hours to go to my parents' home on train. So
wow.
you just travel on train, you sleep there, you eat there, and you become like the best friends with your neighbors inside the train because basically you have so much time, you have nothing to do there. So you are talking, which is also kind of romantic because you meet so many people and people love talking about themselves. So you hear all the stories, very interesting, but it's really wild experience how you can travel inside Russia. And here in Europe, everything is so close. I mean, you can travel a few countries within 1 day, which is also for me was mind blowing at the time, first time. Now I'm already getting used to.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, I mean, I've never traveled to Russia. I see it on a map, right? And I see how big it is, but I've never really thought about what that feels like to live inside
It's
Russia. Yeah. Huh.
absolutely huge. It's
Yeah.
so huge. And we spent our vacation basically go to my parents and then go to my husband's parents, and they lived in different like parts of Russia. And to go from west to east, it like the longest train rail is like 7 days on train.
Wow.
So it's so huge, and it used to
Yeah.
be very famous and popular touristic route, to go from Moscow to Vladivostok with the whole 7 days train trip across all Russia. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it used to be that popular. I hope it will be again one day.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I wanted to ask you about so you've moved here, you've also put a lot of energy into building a platform. You have a YouTube channel, right? And you speak about the immigrant experience. And from what I understand about you from the few conversations we've had, is that you've found this, I guess, motivational sense of purpose in helping women to lead themselves and to build their lives rather than waiting for life to happen to them. Have I understood that right?
Yes, yes, I'm
Okay.
glad that you understood it right.
Good. I'm curious as to, I guess, why is this so meaningful to you, and how are you applying that in your own life?
Well, I have three kids. And every time after every kid, I've experienced that identity crisis. You know, when you just don't know who you are, you don't know, like, what do you want? And all those things that come in together with this really dark space. And with every kid, it was different because still looking back at experience, you are more experienced already and you look at things differently, and then you're moving countries, you're looking at different people, meeting all those cultures. And so I've met so many women who are kind of lost themselves in motherhood. And many of them, they live in Germany, they are Germans, not Germans, but just some other nationalities who live here in Germany. And I see those potential inside, you know, when they are talking about things they truly deeply love, but they are kind of on the back. They are always to postpone something because again, family comes first, and they have like two plus kids. Also, they need to manage all of those like classes, courses, whatever. And I thought it's so sad to see that beautiful woman who is inside, but she's, you know, hiding inside. She's not really living. And many waiting while kids would grow up, while X, Y, Z. And after that, so much time was wasted. And I believe that a woman can do both, raise the kids, have a beautiful family, have a good relationship with your husband, and also be yourself. You know, it's like two main roles, the family side, and then still you, who has
Hmm.
dreams, who has hopes, who has those crazy ideas, like that creative sparks and energy. And we all have this creative side of us. We just need to find the right outlet, how to put it out to this world. And
Yes.
why I decided to share this, because I feel that it's authentic to me. And I also heard over and over again the feedback from women or from people I talk to. They are kind of inspired after we talk to them with them, and maybe I shared some of my stories or just listened to them actually and heard them, and
Hmm.
they're uplifted. And when they are telling me, oh, that's so good, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I feel, yes, you know, it's my fuel. When they are feeling more motivated and ready to take action towards anything they want to build, I feel more motivated. So I can
Mm.
do more. I don't know, for some reason, it's something that light me up.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think it is super important. I mean, I guess I work in a similar area. Like I work as a coach as well. And I love helping people find self-leadership and to figure out how they live the life that they want to live and to stay in touch with who they really are. I think it's important. I think it also requires giving yourself a lot of permission to do that and also knowing that it's important. Like, what would you tell someone that's maybe that is putting that off? Like, how do you help them get in touch with that side that is allowed to express who they are as a person, not as a mom?
As I feel for many people, unfortunately, they had to kind of get to the point where it's, you know, the bottom, the rock bottom, where they need to
Mm,
decide, okay, I'm done. I've got to take responsibility for my own life. And for me, it also was the case when I was blaming my husband that I wasn't happy, blamed surroundings. I blamed Germany, you know, sometimes
mm,
when I
mm,
wasn't happy. That's Germany, that's the system, that's the government. And I could find like whom to blame easily. And when I blamed someone, I couldn't change anything because it's not my fault. It's their fault. It's not my fault. But
Mm.
then I realized that why my husband would, like, yes, it's lovely when your husband does things for you and you're kind of happy, but why he needs to, it's my job to make myself happy, and I don't need to sit and wait while he would realize what I need him to do. I mean, I can make myself happy too. So I kind of realized that, and it's not just a sentence, you are responsible for your own happiness. It's realization. It's really you change your mindset settings for I'm the responsible for my own happiness. This is where a woman can really find her power. Okay,
Mm.
guys, you are now doing your stuff. I need to take my 10 minutes. I will fill my cup and I will come back to you. And now I'm like very um, professional it is. This I would say. My family knows when I need time, I tell them, I need time, you just do whatever you want. I go to my room, fill myself up, fulfill my cup, either reading or doing some body exercises because this is what helps me. And then I come back to them happy, satisfied, and then I'm able to make them happier, to make things for them because I did something for myself. And this realization really makes me empowering. And I believe that so many women they still treat themselves last. First other things come, and I'll wait, but it
Mm.
doesn't work. You can't take care of others and make them happy when you are not taken care of good. Taken care good. Okay, you got it.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like when you are taking care of yourself, you're teaching your kids to take care of themselves through good modeling. And I
Yeah.
think that's, yeah, also so important, right?
You can say nothing. You just show them.
Yeah.
And then if you say that sport is important but you never really do any exercise, why would they do though? So, I mean, you never work out.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
about food, the same about treating people, like be kind to people. But if you never, help someone in the street, if you see someone needs help, I mean, it's really you are that person who leads others. Basically, everyone is a leader, no matter
Mm.
where you work. You are a leader in your family, with your kids, with your friends. You can lead others and be that example. Like people say,
Mm.
be that change you want to see in other people, and you will then see the difference
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fantastic advice, I think. The other thing that was coming up for me as you were talking was this idea of responsibility as well. Like, I feel I'd be interested to hear what you think about this. I feel like mums particularly are susceptible to this, but I'm sure it's possible also for dads. But there's the sense of needing to or feeling responsibility for the family and the well-being of everybody in the family. I think that women often feel this sense of like I need to be the responsible one and make sure that it's all running. And I was thinking about, as you were talking, I was thinking about, wow, what a gift that is also that you're giving your family by stepping away, because you're creating an opportunity for them to take responsibility and to learn to do that for themselves, which I think is also a very big, I want to say gift again, but I don't know a better word, a gift that you're giving them.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but yeah, that's a good insight actually. And they
Mm.
will be more independent and like
Yep.
more not adults but growing up with that healthy mindset that they are responsible.
Mm.
If you don't like it, change it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And this
Yeah.
I also teach my kids that you tell what you don't like, you tell what you want others. We cannot read your mind. Like if you're unhappy, how can you tell me? So it's, I don't know. We as a kids, we didn't learn it, and our
Mm.
parents also. There was not that so much information as we have now. Now it's even overload, right? People have such an overload in this information. too
Yeah.
much of it. But we need to be deliberate with what we teach and what we read, and we have resources now to give our kids the best what we can.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Good. I think that's yeah, you give some good insight to mums out there that are navigating complexity of moving
Yeah.
abroad, because I think it becomes even more important, right, when you're maybe you don't have the support system that you might have in your hometown when you're living abroad and you're trying to parent abroad, then you really need to look after yourself. Your well-being becomes non-negotiable, I think.
Yes, 100%. And I wish girls, young girls, would learn it at school. I mean, we learn so much stuff at school, but never really about these important things. I mean, how you need to really treat yourself, your body, your health, what you eat. It's another, the whole topic about food here for the kids and for people in general. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, we can make a change. And
Mm.
I feel that there will be a change in system. I mean, what we need to include in those schedules and different lessons and all the perspectives for young generation, it need to be updated 100%.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yes. Good. Okay, I'm looking at the time and I want to ask you one last question before we finish up. Um, okay, it's a question that's going back to how can we think about what might benefit somebody that's moving here to Germany when they've first arrived. And I'm wondering if you have any reflections.
That's more opportunities than you can even imagine, because when you start from scratch, you can be anybody. I mean, if you've never been a confident person, you can wear that mask of a confident person, start acting like a confident person, and in some time you will become that confident person, because first action and then you gain that confidence. So if you have that dreams, crazy ideas, even here in Germany, just you are starting from the blank canvas, and you can draw there whatever comes to your mind. Nobody knows you. You can do things, you can screw up, no judgment, no old classmates who would laugh at you, no old friends or all the crazy relatives who would say like, what are you doing? You are not qualified for that, or you don't have certificates or whatever. Start your social media campaigns, start talking on YouTube, like start a podcast, whatever you wanted to do, and talk about it. And also the opportunity to learn new language, how you can feel yourself in a new language. It can be so different, and you can like unleash the whole different personality and the person inside you. What happens to me when I speak English? This is why I basically engross myself into English content and communities and all the English environment, because the way I feel myself in English is a little bit different, and I prefer that person. And it also shows you a bunch of different personalities you haven't really knew about.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, it's so true. I love that. I think that's a beautiful takeaway
Thank you.
point. Yeah.
I hope it was again motivational a little bit, but not just information and okay whatever, but some desire to okay, I'm done. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to start that podcast I wanted to start 5 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
more actionable thing, not just learning thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the challenge is then like we carry all these stories around in our heads, right? And we bring those with us. And so the challenge is then how do you show up in a way where you're not letting those stories of the past affect your future?
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us today. It's been
Thank
a
you,
pleasure
Anne,
to
and
host
that was
you.
a pleasure. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
No worries.